What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be just a MEKpreme tutorial for beginners. Since Supreme is probably dropping the first week of the season in either this week or next week, I thought I'd make a video since some people have probably gotten MEK over the off season and might not know how to run it on at least an initial release. So I thought I'd put this video together and show you guys the basics of how to use it. So when you first open it, you'll get the login page here where your key is here. You can put in a proxy here, and here is the region selection. Now with the proxy, usually you're only going to need this if you're running it on a server because the local server IP is usually banned on Supreme. But sometimes you might need to use it on local. It will say put a proxy in if you try to log in on local, and then if for some reason your local IP is banned on Supreme, but usually it won't be, so you might not have to worry about it. Anyway, I'm just going to log in, and then this is what you get when you log in. So this is the task page. On here we've got the menus, some lights here which are true or false. I'll go over all this later. There's the add task button, delete all, the timer function here which you can schedule your tasks for with, and then there's the stop all and start all button, which are pretty self-explanatory. This keyword box and the checkout delay box are probably not going to be used, so I won't necessarily go over it because in the last few seasons that I've been running this bot, we haven't really needed it. So, but I will go over monitor delay at the end. So now I'm just going to go over adding a task. So you click add task, and then here's the add task page. You can do the task name, which doesn't really matter. It doesn't really show up anywhere, so you don't really need to, but then you can select your profile. I'm just going to go with one here, and then you can do all profiles as well. And then here's the keywords, which is a pretty important category here. So positive keywords, use the plus like this. And then if you want to add more, you can do comma, no space, and then another one like that. If you want to have any negative keywords, you will do another comma and then a negative like that. And then on to proxy list, there's localhost, default, and then there's other proxy lists that you can have, which I'll go over how to add those, and then you can select from those as well. Next we have category. This is just the category on the website that the item will be under. Color, you don't need to have a plus here. Oops. You don't need to have a plus here. You can just put blue, black, whatever the color is in there, or you can just do random like that. Size, you can do random or any of these other ones, but it'll go over in the guide what you'll need for that. These are like shoe sizes and pant sizes and stuff, but usually you'll probably just be going for these. Item quantity is the cart quantity. It's not the task quantity, so most likely this is always going to be 1 unless you're running for something that you can add multiple of to cart. Now we're on to mode. This is a pretty important part. There are 4 modes for running on a regular release. These 2 browser modes are very CPU intensive, so I would recommend making a bunch of tasks with these, fake tasks, and stress testing your computer or your server to see how many you can run at once. You can also look at this maximum browser task number and kind of go off of that. But it can under tell you how much you can have, or it can say you have too many, or it'll say you can run more than what you probably can. So I would recommend, like I said, testing it. And then there's super and API mode, which are less CPU intensive and they're usually quicker. But they don't always, end up in a checkout. So I would recommend running every mode in a release, just because what I've noticed from last season is that these modes Certain ones seem to hit on different weeks, so it's not very like consistent that browser modes always hit. In one week, only API tasks hit, which, so that's why I'd recommend running everything. Now the checkout delay, it really varies on the mode, and even the modes change from time to time. So I would recommend paying attention to the Discord, or if you're running it, the guide that they send. So, because sometimes browser modes you can have 0, and then sometimes the browser safe mode you needed to have like 1700 or 2000 or something like that. But it really just changes from time to time. So checkout delay varies greatly between the different modes that you're running. So just keep up to date with the Discord and you should be good. The next are these tabs down here, or these buttons. Capture bypass has been off for the past 2 seasons, so probably not going to need it. They probably won't bring that back. Usually you're always going to have retry on failure on, and these are EU things, so just check the Discord for what you can turn on there, and store credit as well. So I'm just going to make a task here, and then once you've made a task, you can edit it, which goes back to what you had before. You can view your logs. You can clear the log or duplicate it, and then you can delete it like that. Now I'm going to go on to profiles. So these are all the profiles, at least that I have in here. I'm going to show you how to add them. You can add them here. You can remove them all, import profiles, or export the ones that you currently have. So let's add. So you can put a name here that you want to call the profile. Next is pretty self-explanatory: name, email, address, etc. Card type is down here, and the card number is here. You don't need to have the spaces here. Same with the phone number. You can just type it out like this, like that, and it's fine. Same with the card number. You can just put them all next to each other without spaces. This stuff should be self-explanatory. One thing I want to say is that with Discover cards, it doesn't show up on here, but just use the Visa card type and it works. So that's just for some reason how they have it in the bot. So, so don't freak out. You can use Discover cards. You just use the Visa card type, and then you add your billing like that. And that's how you add profiles. So on to proxies. This default group shows up when you download the bot. This is kind of special. It's a monitoring proxy group. So I would recommend putting DCs in here. And the more proxies you have in here, the more the lower you're able to put your monitor delay, which I'll go over later. But the lower your monitor delay, the faster it'll pick up new items and that kind of thing. So the more proxies you have in here, the quicker you'll be able to monitor. So you add a proxy here and then paste and save. You can test them as well. The test one, just test them all at once, and test proxy 2, test them one by one. So then you just click save there, and then you can also add proxy groups. So you'd name the group and then go to add, and then add them here, and then it will automatically count how many there are. And then you'll click save, and that's how you add a proxy group. Now onto the settings tab. You can choose between the CAPTCHA harvester that's built into the bot, or you can use AYCD autosolve, and there's where you put your token and key. Usually the regular CAPTCHA harvester that is built into the bot is pretty good, so I would recommend using that over AYCD because it can sometimes have problems with MEK, but a lot of people use it without any problems. But I would recommend using just the inbuilt CAPTCHA harvester. So the way to launch these is you click how many you want. So I'm just going to do 3, and then make sure to click default for a regular release. these sign up captcha harvesters are only for in-store sign up tasks. So I'm going to click that and give it a second, and it will load them up. All right, so here's the captcha harvester. What you're going to want to do is put your proxy in here if you have a proxy, unless it's your personal email or whatever. You're going to put in your proxy and click apply, and then you're going to go to the Gmail button and then log in with your Gmail there. It shouldn't have anything logged in if you're opening it for the first time. And then X out of that. And then like an hour to 30 minutes before the release, you're going to want to click this Chrome icon and then go over to YouTube and then watch YouTube videos, like videos, dislike videos, comment, whatever. Just generate some activity before the drop so that you'll have more one clicks, even if you already have a good Gmail. It'll help you get more one clicks over the whole drop. But yeah, I think that just about covers the captcha harvester. As long as this icon's here, that means you're all connected and good to go. You won't really need to use these buttons very much. You should be fine without it. And then it'll show you how many captchas you've solved there. And if you ever need to solve them like physically, they'll pop up in here as well. So I'm going to X out of these. And then you can add your webhook and click add, and then test will test it, obviously. And then you can select if you want success only to go get sent to your webhook. Next, we have the cop tab. This just shows everything that you've got, unless you've deleted some or you're on a new instance or whatever. Then it'll show everything that you've got here with the profile and everything. Now I'm going to go over these things here. So the monitor light here, it'll turn true when you start tasks, basically, which it will turn true when it's using the default group here to monitor the website for your tasks. That's basically it. The ticket is the anti-bot. You don't really need to pay attention to this, but you do need to pay attention to the ready one, because if it's false, then something's wrong. So either Supreme is really slow, or so you might have to restart the bot or see what the Discord says. But give it some time to turn true after you've opened the bot. And then right here we've got these toggles for data save and release. Data save is for residential proxies, and it will save a lot of data. You're probably not going to need that until you're running restocks. So I would just leave it off for initial releases unless somebody says otherwise. Next, we have the release toggle. It's usually going to be turned on before your initial release. But yeah, you shouldn't need to use the keyword thing. This is for mass changing. And checkout should be at 0 because you'll set that in your tasks. Now, the monitor delay, what I usually do is when I'm starting my task, like a minute before, I have it at like 10 seconds, and then you press the monitor button to set it. And then like 15 minutes or 15 seconds before, like 10 seconds before, I'll change it to about 700, and then click that, and then wait for it to drop. You can go lower than this. This is just what works for me. Again, if you have more proxies in your default proxy group, then you can run this at a lower delay, which might allow you to pick it up faster and maybe get more checkouts that way. I've seen people run it at like 200. I've seen people run it at like 1,000. So it really just depends, but this is what's been working for me. I usually put about 25 DCs in here. I might have more this season, so I might lower it a little bit to like 500. But yeah, so that's just what works for me. I would recommend anywhere from 700 to 1,000 if you've got like 25 DCs in there or something like that. You can run this with no proxies, and in that case, I would recommend running it at like 900 to 1,000. But it shouldn't really impact your ability to cop that much. It would be better to have some proxies in there, but you should probably be fine. And with that, I think that's just about everything I can show you guys about Mech. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do more guides for other bots, or any videos you want to see in the future. But if you like this, if you learned something, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I do live cops whenever I can, basically. But yeah, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next video.